Hello, JuliaCon. My name is Carsten Bauer, and together with my colleagues from the Proceedings Committee of this year's JuliaCon 2022, we would like to tell you a little bit about the proceedings of the JuliaCon conferences, and in particular, how to submit papers, what kind of papers we do accept. We'll give you a practical demonstration. But before we go there, let's take one step back and ask the question, why another journal, right? Aren't there already enough? And the thing is that, being a community centered around the Julia programming language, we often have to realize that in academia, papers are still sort of the currency, right? And not software. So really, the idea behind the JuliaCon proceedings is to give people who went through the effort of developing some software, preparing a talk for JuliaCon, to give them a easy way to wrap up their story, wrap up the feature set of their package, and publish a paper about it. And since JuliaCon 2019, we have the JuliaCon Proceedings, which is an open access journal. You can find the URL here. It's a registered academic journal, so we have an ISSN. At the end, your paper will get a regular DOI, as you know from other journals. And since 2019, so that is for 3 JuliaCons, we've in total received about 40 paper submissions, which makes us a little bit proud, and obviously we hope to increase that number in the future. On the technical side, we partnered up with the Open Journals. So Open Journals is sort of a wrapper organization around a few open access journals, the most popular of which is JOSS, the Journal for Open Science Software. Who are we? On the one hand, there's the editorial board, so that's Ranjan, Mathieu, Valentin, and myself. You might have seen us around on the Julia Slack or the Julia Discourse. However, the most important part of the who and the Julia proceedings is obviously the community, because without our community reviewers, that entire effort wouldn't be possible. So big thanks goes out to more than 40 reviewers that we've already had for the aforementioned received paper submissions. And let me take that opportunity not just to thank the current reviewers, but also shout out that we are always looking for editors and reviewers. So if you are interested in contributing in whatever way, please reach out to us, chat with us, and maybe you can find a position for you. All right, that concludes this short introduction, and now let's get to the practical part. To a demonstration, what kind of paper formats do we accept, and how to actually submit a paper. So my colleagues Mathieu and Ranjan will take over that part.
Hi everybody. In this segment, we're going to go through how you actually submit a paper to the JuliaCon proceedings. So firstly, just go to this URL, proceedings.juliacon.org, and over here you will find the JuliaCon Proceedings homepage, and where you'll have links to the author guide, a list of papers already published in the proceedings, as well as the button to submit, and we'll go through what are the steps required. Of course, you can also volunteer to be a reviewer if you'd like. So the first thing we're going to do before we submit is to read the guide. And this is the link to read. This is the link to the guide. And so now let's go to the author's guide and look at the 2 types of formats we accept papers in. So the first format is an extended abstract, which is about 2 pages long, including references. And this follows from a standard JOSS paper, which you could refer to. So if you've submitted a standard JOSS paper, or you've read standard JOSS papers, this is very similar to that. And the other kind of paper that is relatively unique to the proceedings is a full paper submission. So these paper submissions are about 5 to 10 pages long, with references. We mean this to be in the style of a full academic paper. All right. Now, to submit a paper, the first thing you want to do is to go to our template. So we have a template called JuliaConSubmission.jl in the JuliaCon GitHub repo. So github.com/JuliaCon/JuliaConSubmission.jl. And I see there is a handy button here called Use this template. But instead of that, we're going to suggest just cloning this repo. So just, just copy, just download a zip or just git clone. And then everything you need to compile the paper is within this paper folder. So what we recommend you do is to create a branch on your repo, optionally create a branch on your repo, or you could commit this to master itself, or main itself. We would like you to create a folder called paper and then put all this content within that folder. And then, or you can start modifying the LaTeX files, from here and start compiling your paper.
Yeah. There are like two main files to modify. The first one would be paper.tech, which will be the main body of a paper. And the other one will be the YAML file. This is paper.yaml, which contains the metadata on the paper that are important for the infrastructure to detect like the author names, the affiliations, and so on.
Yep. Thanks, Matthew. So once you have modified, once you've started modifying your paper.tech or your paper.yaml, you probably want to see what your paper looks like. So you have two options. You can either compile it locally, and we have build instructions right in the paper README over here. You'll need a couple of dependencies, and then you can use LaTeX make and then compile your paper and view it locally. Your other option is to just go to Overleaf, and we have this convenient link over here, where you could just go to where we have our paper on Overleaf, and so so you could see this compiled fairly quickly, and all you need to do is to just basically put this paper repo on Overleaf, and it should just work. Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
All right.
So switch to the review.
Oh yeah, sure. So once you've committed all your files in the paper folder, you can just hit submit a paper to JuliaCon, type in your title, select the type of paper, put your GitHub repo over here, select new submission in this case, and suggest a potential editor, and just hit submit. And now I'm just gonna, Matthew is gonna tell you what happens immediately after you submit.
Yeah. So all the papers are on JuliaCon Proceedings review, which is a single repo where every single paper is tracked in a separate issue. So when you first submit, you will enter a pre-review phase where the editor and you will select some reviewers. You have some, so in the guides, there are specifications on what can constitute a conflict of interest to avoid selecting reviewers that you would be too familiar with. Once the editor is satisfied with the chosen reviewers, the actual review process can start in a second issue. So in the second issue, there will be a continuous conversation between you, the author, and the different reviewers on what is missing, what could be improved, and is it fitting with both the style and the recommendation of the JuliaCon Proceedings. And once this is done, so there's a final verification and the paper is automatically built for acceptance.
Yeah, and yes, that's about it. So once the paper is accepted, it goes into the proceedings papers repo using our automated infrastructure, and so you can see all the papers that have been published so far. We have the final versions here. They all are assigned. One crucial step is you need to create DOIs for all of them using Zenodo. Once you do submit a paper, we can get to that bit, how exactly you do that. We're more than happy to help you get all of that set up. But yeah, after that you have a DOI and your paper would be published in the JuliaCon Proceedings.
All right, thanks Ranjan, thanks Mathieu. This brings us to the end of our lightning talk. I hope you learned the necessary information that you were looking for. And we are looking forward to your submissions. And once again, feel free to reach out as well if you want to join us as an editor or reviewer. Bye, guys.